Hey guys, Chris here back from C&H Small Engine again for another quick and informative video for you guys today. What you got in front of me here today is a genuine Troy-bilt Super Bronco CRT with a Tecumseh overhead valve engine on it specifically. The customer calls up here about a week ago, last Tuesday, I believe. And he was complaining that he supposedly sold this machine to a friend of his. However, when the friend came to pick the machine up, the machine would not start, and the guy basically left his machine in his garage for about a year's time, and he kept on claiming the machine was running perfectly fine when he put it away. However, when his friend came over to purchase it and pick it up, the machine would not function whatsoever for him. So he called us up and wanted us to take a look at it for him. And he was also having one other problem. He said he basically kept on telling me the thing would not go into drive for me. I kept on asking him, sir, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? He's like, it would go into reverse sometimes, the other times it wouldn't go. And he kept on giving me multiple different answers and stuff like that. So he just wanted to check that as well too. So we went ahead and checked it over here this past week on Friday, and we finally got the machine ready to go back to him today on Monday afternoon here for him. So what we had to do was the primary problem the machine wasn't running was the carburetor was completely full of old gas, and it was all varnished up down inside here, and we had to replace the actual float bowl right here as well too. The actual float bowl, the original one, was almost like completely black inside. I don't know what kind of gas the guy was using, but it was totally black inside on there for that. And that's no joke, guys, because sometimes if you have old bad gas and you have an old steel gas tank, like 1 gallon gas tank that has a lot of sediment and debris in the water at the bottom of it, that can transfer all that stuff down into your tank on your rototiller here as well too. And because of that, the guy's carb bowl had to be replaced. The carb had to be cleaned out about 3 times. We had to put it in gasoline for about a couple hours. We put in a hot soak carb solution for a couple hours, took it out of that, blew it out, and we also put in a Jaws Vibra tank for a couple hours as well too, with some Tide detergent in there, and that got the carburetor all spick and span on her now. So it's you can see on the outside it's perfectly clean, and it's looking in great shape externally wise, I should say. Got the carb rebuilt. We had to put new intake gasket on the intake manifold right here as well too. You have 2 intake manifold gaskets on these ones. You have one right down here, and you have the secondary one in the back right here where the carb bolts, or actually the carb intake pipes bolts to the actual cylinder head right here. So you have a secondary one right here, has to be replaced. You have one right here, and you have the primary one where the intake goes up into the manifold right here. You have your intake manifold pipe, so it's always a good idea to replace both gaskets, this one right here and the one up here, in order to provide a good sealing effect for the intake system of the machine. Because if you don't do that, I've seen guys who try to reuse old gaskets, and what happens was the old gas is either warped, split, or it doesn't want to seal right, and it causes air leaks, and you get rough running, surging, stuff like that. So always replace the gaskets with OEM gaskets anytime you do a carb job such as this one right here. And the next thing I got here is he was also claiming the belt or drive system wasn't working right. And we found that the belt he had on here kept kicking off. It kept on kicking off. It was not staying underneath the keepers right here. The belt was stretched. The belt I'm primarily talking about is this one right here in the front. You have 2 belts. You have this front one right here, and you have the secondary belt right here as well too. The front one right here, this is for your reverse. See, I'm turning it over right now. That's for the reverse. I'll engage the handle up here in the top. This is your reverse mechanism right here. You pull this back, and that puts it into reverse right here. You have your reverse diagram right here and stuff like that on the top of the bar right here as well too for that. Plus your secondary bar right here has for the forward gearing and releasing of that specific mechanism right there. So whenever you engage this, that's engaging the rear or the rear-wheel drive, or it's basically reversing the machine back, so it's pulling you back. It's not going forward, it's going back. So you engage that down here like so. As you see, the belt's tightening up. And what was happening was I think somebody might have been messing with us before us, because this keeper wasn't aligned properly. It has to be completely flat, straight across, and it was kicking out of here, and the belt was actually sitting on the outside. This thing, it was on the outside over here, and the other side right here, the other piece, this piece right here was sitting down over here in the front of the pulley, so it was actually in two different positions. I don't know how he managed to do that, but it was definitely in wrong position. The primary belt right here, this belt right here, was sitting out here, and the secondary part was sitting over here against this piece right here. So we had to realign the actual keeper right here. We also bent it in maybe about an 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch, so the keeper is bent in slightly right there as well too. So now it's working perfectly fine. So I'll go ahead and fire this thing up here if I can here for a couple seconds. So bear with me here. I can get this thing out of the way here so you can see it functioning. So bear with me here for a couple seconds. Okay. Here we go, I'll fire it up here. We got the reliable Tecumseh 6 horsepower, 195 cc overhead valve engine. And there you go. We'll go ahead and maybe see any choke it, maybe probably choke it about a half away, see what it does today here. There we go. Fired up on one pull. Sounds great. No hesitating, no surging. Machine's running absolutely fine. We'll go ahead and double check the carb adjustment here. So the choke works perfectly fine. Choke's great, no problem. And we'll go ahead and engage the drive. So here we go. Let me get my hand over here, okay. We'll pull the bar back here for the forward motion. And it's working perfectly fine. Tiller is working great. And we'll go ahead and engage the rear reverse. So we'll pull this thing out of here. This is your reverse clutch that they have right here. Reverse clutch, do not till in reverse. And we'll go ahead and see if the belt will stay on here with the new belt. And it's working good. Belt's working great, no problem. We'll go ahead and engage the tines again here. Shut that off. Try to reverse again here. Okay, here we go. Belt staying on. Looks good to go. Here's a shot of the upper decal right there. And here's a shot of the actual identification tag. Let's go ahead and put it on low speed here. Got a nice smooth idle on low speed, sounds great. It's not knocking, it's not banging, it's not clanging. Valves sound okay. We also did put some new oil in here. We changed the oil out a couple times because the oil was quite dirty in there. After we changed the first time, it was still getting quite dark oil coming out of the oil drain plug right here as well too. So the machine's running great. Go ahead and fire this thing up again. Low speed's great, high speed's great. It picks up nice and quick. That's what you want to do. So it sounds great right now. It's ready to go back to the customer, so we'll go ahead and shut it off. And that's the review for the Troy-bilt Super Bronco Rototiller. So if anybody has any comments, questions, whatnot, feel free to leave me a message here, and I'll try to get back to you probably within 24 to 48 hours after you post some kind of a question. I'll see you guys. Have a nice day.